Chapter 9. Do mostly as I do. After the ceremony, Simba and Kohisha made their way towards the waterhole. Why do they always have to do that? Ranted Simba. The cooing? I don't know, it's irritating, responded Kohisha. It's like they think we're still little cubs, Simba went on. Granted, it's hard to take you seriously with your... Kohisha hesitated. He knew that Simba wouldn't react well to what he had to say. My what? Never mind. I don't want you to get upset again, said Kohisha, trying to play it off. I'm not gonna be upset. Just tell me already, Simba demanded. Alright, but remember that I warned you, said Kohisha. Just spit it out already, said Simba, growing impatient. It's hard to take you seriously with your non-existent mane, said Kohisha. You don't have a mane either, countered Simba. True, but I, at least, have a tuft of hair. You don't, explained Kohisha. I do too, said Simba with a pout while covering his head with his right front paw. Listen, it don't matter. It's sort of... The last word wasn't audible to Simba. It's what? Said Simba as he grew more angry. It's adorable. I know it sounds really fucking dumb, but you just got a very childlike face, said Kohisha. Are you saying I look like a toddler? Simba had stopped walking. Dude, seriously, it doesn't matter, Kohisha tried to assure Simba. It matters to me. Is that why Nala is always chuckling at me? Simba asked more himself than Kohisha. Listen, how about this? Kohisha said, trying to derail Simba's train of self-conscious thought. I teach you how to let things not get too easily to you, and you help me reintroduce myself to Mitu. How does that sound? He said. Simba lowered his right paw and chuckled. Oh, that's right. You still have that crush on Mitu. That's too funny to not help you with, Simba said. Kohisha just rolled his eyes. Redirecting the conversation to a vulnerability of oneself to help someone else to open up was always good. Relatability was worth more than gold sometimes. Alright, let's go, said Kohisha. A few minutes later, the two lion cubs arrived at the waterhole where Nala and Mitu were already expecting them. Nala immediately ran up to Simba and nuzzled him. Simba gave an involuntary purr as a reaction, prompting Nala to giggle. I heard you two managed to finish the Indlela Sabazavane. I'm so proud of you and Kohisha. Yeah, it wasn't easy, said Simba. That's just great to see that you could swallow your pride like that, added Mitu. Kohisha avoided looking at Mitu. Nala? Simba asked Nala nervously. Yeah, what is it? She responded. Is my mane, my hair tuft, does it make me look too young? He finally said. I like it. It's cute. It's a fierce little tuft of hair for my fierce boyfriend, she responded with a smile. But all the other cubs have more than me. Even Mitu has more mane than me. Hey, what's that supposed to mean? Opined Mitu. Sorry, Mitu, I didn't want to insult you. It's just that you're younger than me, and even you already got more of a mane. Simba started, only to be interrupted by Kohisha. Ugh, for fuck's sake, Simba, your fucking mane is okay, and it's gonna grow bigger. Could you now please do what you promised you would help me with, so that I can return the favour? Said Kohisha, obviously more annoyed than impatient at this point. What? Oh yeah, I totally forgot about that, said Simba. Simba was about to address Mitu when he couldn't help but wonder. Wait, if you are going to help me be more self-assured, then why do you need my help? Asked Simba. Are you serious? It's because this is new territory to me, but not to you. On the other side, the things I will help you with are my area of expertise, explained Kohisha with full exhaustion. You will learn to do as I do, however right now you will help me to not make an ass of myself, he finished. But aren't you setting a bad example by wanting me to take the first step for you? Sounds like something I shouldn't follow, Simba reasoned. Yes, you are right. don't do as I do now, but do as I do later on when I fucking know what I'm doing myself. Alright? Kohisha asked, visibly annoyed. Alright, jeez. Don't get your panties in a twist, mumbled Simba. What are you talking about? Asked Nala, confused. You'll see, responded Simba as he walked over to Mitu. Mitu, Simba asked. What's up? Responded Nala's twin brother. Okay, so here's the deal. You see Kohisha over there. You probably remember that he bullied you a few days ago. However, I am here to tell you that he really isn't such a bad guy, Simba explained. Mitu looked over to Kohisha, who was nervously scratching the dirt underneath him. In fact, I'd go so far as to say that he's actually quite sensitive and lovable once you get to know him, Simba said. You think so? Asked Mitu. I mean, I don't hold grudges, and I did feel sorry for him yesterday, but I don't know if he's gonna be nice when he's around his clique again, said Mitu. Simba hadn't really thought about that. Now it worried him somewhat, but he kept going. I honestly don't know about that, but I do know, however, that he would like to tell you something, Simba said and turned to face Kohisha, who was still awkwardly looking at the ground. Kohisha! Hissed Simba, prompting Kohisha to look up. Kohisha slowly made his way over to Simba and Mitu. Hi, he said, trying to keep his cool demeanor. Hey, said Mitu expectantly. Kohisha's face went suddenly red as he stumbled for words. You wanted to tell me something? Asked Mitu. I stuttered Kohisha. Simba couldn't help but wonder if he had looked this insecure when he told Nala about his feelings, but he remembered the feeling well. It was as if he wanted to talk in colours and impressions, but no words allowed for this kind of depth. He had to step in. Kohisha likes you, and wanted to ask you if you'd like to maybe, go out with him sometimes, Simba said. Mitu looked at Kohisha in surprise. Kohisha was still avoiding eye contact. Is that true? Mitu asked Kohisha. Or is he joking? It's true, mumbled Kohisha, still looking down. I really like you. Do you... He hesitated. Do you like me? It's okay if you don't. Just tell me, he said, slowly raising his head. Well, Mitu began. I don't know. I mean, you're kinda cute, but... He said with a sly smile. But what? Inquired Kohisha. But my sister once offered me to judge whomever was interested in me before I gave him a chance. I'm still not sure if that's a bit patronizing, but I trust my sister's intuition more than my own. Maybe. I know that I can be a bit too naive at times, so you'll have to show my sister that you're not too mean, he explained. Nala? Kohisha swallowed. You don't sound very pleased to have me around, said a familiar sassy voice just a few feet away. Nala had listened in on the conversation and was now sporting a sweet, smug smile. Is that really necessary? Asked Kohisha, looking at Mitu with a puzzled look. Sorry, I would like to go out with you, but my sister is very protective of me. If you're not mean, then this won't take long, elaborated Mitu with his usual innocent smile. A smile that could melt Kohisha's heart any day. Oh, fine, Kohisha agreed. Is she just gonna question me or something? Kohisha inquired. No, I'm just gonna follow you around for a bit, Nala said. But I was gonna help Simba with his self-esteem problems. I don't have time for this, complained Kohisha. I don't see the problem. I can spend time with Simba and observe you while you teach him some stuff, reasoned Nala. Kohisha let out an annoyed grunt. Fine. Then he turned to Simba. Alright, first thing we're gonna do is visit my gang, Kohisha said. I will show you how to lead a group and how not to do it. I'm gonna go back to Mum, said Mitu. Not to be rude, but I'm still not too keen on seeing those cops just yet, he reasoned. Alright, said Kohisha. Then he turned to Nala. You can tag along if that means I can convince you that I'm not gonna be an arse to me too. Sounds alright. Hope you don't feel embarrassed by having a girl come along with you, Nala said with a teasing smile. Koisha chuckled. As if that's Simba's job, he joked. Hey, protested Simba. You have to admit that you get embarrassed easily when you and Nala cuddle in front of others. Simba rolled his eyes. Not that easily. Nala giggled. Alright, Koisha, consider this the first positive impression you made on me. Simba pouting is always funny. Nala said as she gave Simba a playful nudge. The trio, comprised of Nala, Simba and Koisha, made their way towards the western green plains. Chapter 10. The difference between respect and fear. Your dad probably already told you a thing or two about leadership and the difference between having your subjects respect you and having them fear you, asked Koisha, probing. Not really. He's mostly given me lessons in patience and diplomacy. You know, always be fair with your friends, don't be arrogant, that kind of stuff. He goes on and on about how being a prince doesn't mean I get to talk down to everyone, mused Simba. I wonder why, chuckled Nala. Shut up, responded Simba playfully. I know I'm a bit cocky at times, but it's not that bad. Well, anyhow, said Koisha, the point is, you lead people. That means they need to trust you. They must know that you know when to fight and when to stand down. He stopped and took an intimidating stance in front of Simba. What would you do if I told you that Nala was a pathetic cunt and a waste of space? Koisha asked calmly. Simba instinctively pounced at Koisha, who had seen this coming and redirected the force of Simba's pounce into nothing. Simba landed flat on his face. That is exactly how you're not supposed to act, said Koisha with a sly grin. By the way, Nala, you're obviously not a waste of space or pathetic. Thanks, I guess, answered Nala. Okay, but how am I supposed to react? Asked Simba as he got back up. The way you reacted a few days ago when you didn't react to my taunts. I'm actually confused why you couldn't control yourself this time, said Koisha. That was different. You were just going against me, but now you went against Nala. I just don't like it when my friends get attacked, reasoned Simba. So you jump into action without giving it a second thought. Even though that might be exactly what your opponent wants, asked Koisha. Yeah, you're a bit over-enthusiastic, Simba, added Nala. You didn't even consider if I wanted to defend myself. I don't always need to have someone jump into action for me. Although, I must say it was kind of sweet in a thick-headed way, chuckled Nala. Simba blushed. I wasn't really thinking, admitted Simba. It's okay. That's why I'm giving you advice. Let's just take it from the top, said Koisha. As I said, imagine I just said that Nala is a pathetic cunt and a waste of space, said Koisha. Simba still growled but didn't move. Why would you say that? He said, still anger in his face. Well, started Koisha, who knows? Maybe I don't like Nala's face. What is it to you? Can't she defend herself? Koisha went on. Of course she can. However, I don't see why she should bother with you if you don't like her anyway, said Simba. The truth is probably that she's too weak to fend for herself, teased Koisha. That's not true. She's able to pin me down and... So you're weaker than a girl, interjected Koisha. Shut up, barked Simba, furious, and once again pounced at Koisha. Koisha managed to evade Simba yet again. There we go again. Did this one jab really get you that much? Talk about insecure, muttered Koisha. I'm not insecure, pouted Simba. Koisha chuckled. If you say so. So you would admit that Nala is stronger than you? Simba's face went red. No, you, he muttered. Hold on, I think you're not going to get anywhere, Koisha, at least not like this, said Nala as she intervened. Simba, Nala approached Simba. Yeah, Simba said. Nala pinned Simba down. Hey, opined Simba. Would you admit that I'm stronger than you? Asked Nala with her usual cheeky smile. You probably let me up until I say so, so yes, you are stronger than me, said Simba, annoyed. Nala gave Simba a kiss on his nose with a giggle. Alright, now tell me something you're better at than me, my sweet prince, she asked. What? Asked Simba, still confused. I don't know, I guess I... What exactly are you trying to do here, Nala? Asked Kuhisha. Simple. I'm trying to boost his self-esteem, answered Nala. And how is having me pinned down helping my self-esteem? Asked Simba, visibly confused. Well, you'll know once you answer my question. What are things that you are better at than me? Asked Nala. I'm stronger than you, Simba blurted out. We already got this sorted out. I'm literally holding you down right now. So how about this? Do you remember that time I got stuck on top of that rock pillar? Yeah, I had to help you down because you were scared of heights, answered Simba. Exactly. You told me to climb backwards because that way I didn't have to look down and you could hold my paw. You told me to look at you while you climbed facing down. That was really brave of you. After all, you had to look down the entire time. Do you now know anything you might be better at than me? Asked Nala with a warm smile. I guess I'm more brave than you, he answered. Exactly, said Nala as she gave Simba a lick on the muzzle and jumped off of him. So you just need to keep that in mind. You're willing to approach a foe who is bigger than you without any fear. You won't back down, so stand your ground instead of attacking outright. Just extend your claws into the earth below, feel the dirt and stand there like the fluffy prince you are, explained Nala. You know, fluffy isn't really an intimidating word, remarked Simba. I know, but you are fluffy, said Nala while nuzzling him. Simba purred in response. Alright, so what you're saying is I'm supposed to just stand there? Simba asked. Yep, not backing down, but also not attacking. They don't get to move you unless they move, explained Nala. Right, you're the leader and the leader's supposed to keep cool. So let's try my little exercise yet again, he said and sat down opposite Simba. Let's say I just called Nala a pathetic cunt and a waste of space, said Kuhisha. Now why would you say something so rude about my friend? Responded Simba. I don't know. Maybe I don't like her face. Why does it matter to you? Is she your girlfriend? Or is she too weak to speak for herself? Asked Kuhisha. She's my friend. Anything else is none of your business. Okay? So apologize now and I'll let it slide, argued Simba. Why doesn't she ask me to apologize, huh? Is she scared of me or something? Kuhisha went on. I want to take care of this because she's my friend, and I don't like you talking to my friends like that. She can very well defend herself. Simba hesitated. She's even stronger than me, he finished. So a girl is stronger than you? Kuhisha asked, giving his voice a mocking tone. Simba growled at Kuhisha, but followed Nala's advice and extended his claws into the dirt, feeling the dirt. Yeah, so? He asked, not moving an inch. So you are a girl? Said Kuhisha. Simba cocked his head to the side. Okay, I know you're just imitating an unreasonable person, but that was really fucking dumb, said Simba, sounding irritated. If Nala as a girl is stronger than me, then how exactly is that an insult to call me a girl? He asked. Alright, if that doesn't push any buttons, how about this? Kuhisha cleared his throat. A girl is stronger than you, and you're supposed to be the future king? That's pathetic. You could never lead a pride like that, said Kuhisha. Simba started, trying to find a good response. This actually hit him right in a vulnerable spot. He always liked to brag about being the future king, but the idea of actually governing sounded scary to him. Plus, he didn't want to disappoint his father. No words? Then move, kiddo, said Kuhisha, motioning to pass Simba on the left. This brought Simba back to reality. Hey there, you still haven't apologized, he said as he moved right in front of Kuhisha. Don't need to apologize, especially not to a weakling like you, responded Kuhisha. I never said I was a weakling. What I said was that Nala is stronger than me. If you are stronger than me remains to be seen. As the future king, I am also very proud to have a lioness like Nala in my pride, and she isn't perfect either, but she's a vital part of the pride. Believe it or not, I wouldn't be a good king if I did not see my subjects as my equals on many terms, just like I will see you as an equal once you apologize. Otherwise, I would think that you are just looking for trouble, and I'm unsure if there is room for troublemakers in my pride. So apologize now, or leave, Simba finished. Wow, that was impressive, remarked Kahisha, breaking character. Thanks, that's the speech my dad gave when he settled the diplomatic conflict, explained Simba with a sheepish smile. Oh, I'm sure you mean diplomatic, corrected Kahisha. Nonetheless, you managed to stand your ground without resorting to violence. You showed that your principles aren't easily broken, and that you aren't some wild rogue who can't control himself, explained Kahisha. Winning an argument with your claws will earn you fear. Winning it with words will earn you respect, he went on. With that said, I believe it's time to reintroduce you to my gang, said Kahisha as he led the way to where he usually expected his gang to be. Chapter 11. What is an ocean? Why? Asked Simba and Nala in unison. Because if I go with you two, then they will respect you because I'm there. But if I'm not there, then you will earn their respect naturally, reasoned Kahisha. What if they want to beat us up? Asked Simba, still skeptical. They won't, assured Kahisha. Almost all of them got a lot of bark but no bite. The ones that do have a bite are always gonna warn you before they do anything. I take your word for it, said Simba. Trust me, they might be rude but not violent, said Kahisha. Let's go. Kahisha motioned to a cave where he knew his clique would be. If things turn out bad, I'll be there in a second. But until then, you two will manage. Simba and Nala nodded and made their way towards the cave. The cub that first noticed the duo was named Daraja. He was a bit younger than Simba and Nala. He had an almost red coat of fur and a dirt brown tuft of hair on his head, which despite the age difference was still bigger than Simba's. The prince of the Pride Lands and his, I want to say friend who is a girl but not girlfriend. You're lucky Kahisha isn't here, or you would have already been mercilessly mocked by now. I don't have too much against you. The others, well, it depends, he said. But you bullied me too. Why did you do that if you didn't have anything against me? Asked Simba. I just like hanging around with most of the gang, he explained. They are pretty cool. Nala and Simba exchanged quick glances of doubt. They didn't seem all that cool when they were bullying Simba and my little brother, said Nala. Well, that's, Daraja said, trying to remember a word. It's, peer pressure, he finished. Excuse me, what? Said Nala, bemused. Simba giggled. So you guys need to, pee all the time, or what? He laughed. What? No, hold on, I gotta think. My mom told me about this thing. It sounded somewhat like peer pressure, though, said Daraja. Peer pressure, came a voice from inside the den. Simba and Nala raised their heads in surprise and got into a more aggressive stance, ready to defend themselves. Who are you talking to, Daraja? Said a cub with a light brown coat and straw blonde tuft of mane on the top of his head. The prince and the girl he's friends with are here, Daraja explained. Well, that's a surprise. Any reason you came here? If you're looking for Kahisha, he isn't here right now, said the cub in a relaxed tone of voice. And who are you? My name is Shwari, said the cub with a friendly smile. Why are you in Kahisha's gang? Asked Simba. 'Cause most of my friends are in the gang, Shwari replied. You bullied me though, said Simba. I have to admit that was mostly 'cause I went with the flow and you're so easy to wind up, answered Shwari. Simba growled but remembered quickly enough to bury his claws into the dirt beneath him. I always hang out with Simba. Why was I never bullied? Nala asked, curiously. Well, you don't bully a bully. They already know all the tricks, reasoned Shwari, and Daraja nodded in agreement. What? That's ridiculous. I'm not a bully. Is that right? Simba, do you agree with her? Asked Shwari with his calm smile. What? Of course. She's my friend. She doesn't bully anyone, responded Simba. I guess she travels along the thin mirror's edge of teasing and bullying, said Shwari. I'm not bullying, Simba. If that's what you're trying to say, it's all in good fun, Nala hissed. Alright, I'll take your word for it. If you want to meet the others and ask them about why they are in the gang, go ahead. However, beware of Kuchikesha, warned Shwari. Why? Asked Simba and Nala in unison. You'll see, said Shwari with a smile. Alright, said Simba as he and Nala entered the den. Once their eyes had adjusted to the darkness, they spotted 3 cubs playing with one another. Hi, said Simba cautiously. The cubs went quiet and turned towards Simba and Nala. The princess of the Pride Lands. What a surprise, said a cub with orange coat and a yellow tuft of mane on top of his head. And you are? Asked Nala. My name is Kuchikesha. What do you girls want? He asked with a sly grin. Only Nala is a girl. I'm obviously not, responded Simba while baring his teeth. Simba, calm down, whispered Nala to Simba. Are you sure of that, princess? You don't have any mane to speak of. You look like a girl to me. Kuchikesha chuckled. You take that back right now, or you will get it, growled Simba. He covered his head with his right front paw without even noticing it. Kuchikesha observed Simba with amusement. Oh, that's so scary. I almost wet myself. Be careful not to get dirt in your mane, or Daddy might be disappointed. Kuchikesha teased. Shut the ever-loving fuck up, said Simba as his claws extended into the dirt. Simba, don't, Nala said, looking straight into his eyes. Yeah, Simba, listen to Nala. She knows how to behave like a real lady. Kuchikesha went on. Could you just knock it off already? Said Nala as she moved towards Kuchikesha. You scared that your bestie might get hurt? Kuchikesha teased further. Simba dug his claws deeper into the dirt and closed his eyes. In his mind, a hot red feeling of anger pulsated like the feet of 1,000 elephants. He was close to just jumping Kuchikesha, but then he remembered something. Why was he mad at being called a girl? Nala was a girl, and she was really cool. That was exactly what Kahisha had tried to prepare him for. Kahisha's words rung in his ears. The difference between respect and fear, Kahisha had told him. The difference between fear and respect lays in the way you treat people. He took a deep breath, opened his eyes, and looked straight at Kuchikesha. You know what? You're right, Simba said with a self-assured smile. He was about to swallow all of his pride so he could wash down that massive humble pie he'd have to eat by what he was about to do. Me and Nala are besties. The sugary inflection in which he delivered that line almost made him gag. So what of it? I like her a lot. Simba put his right arm around Nala's shoulder, who didn't quite know what to make of this. Maybe I'm actually a bit girly at times, but why should that bother me, when I can be rough and tough other times? Simba declared. So if you call me a lady, then I guess I might be. I do have some grace, Simba said as he let go of Nala's shoulder and twirled. Kuchikesha became uncomfortable. This wasn't supposed to happen. Simba was supposed to feel embarrassed and get riled up. Oh, whatever, said Kuchikesha, now seemingly having lost any interest in Simba. Okay, said Simba as he breathed a sigh of relief. He could finally stop with the act. Sure, he had just made a complete idiot of himself, but he had done so with confidence, and that must have counted for something. Don't mind Kuchikesha, he can be odd sometime, said another cub who looked similar to Kuchikesha, but with a darker tuft of hair. Who are you then? Asked Simba. The name's Healer, and the quiet one on the back is Fikiria, but I wouldn't bother with him. He only talks to people when he has to, explained the cub. I gotta say though, I'm impressed by what you've just done. I would have died of embarrassment in your place. My respect, Prince Simba, said Healer with a friendly smile. Nala was still looking at Simba with a dumbfounded look. Wow, I never thought I kinda wished I had a sister before, she said with a mix of cheekiness and honesty. You do realize I was just acting, right? Asked Simba. Yeah, but you were just so fluffy. I like that. Don't get me wrong, I like you a lot when you are more typically you. You know, adventurous, fierce, and wild. That's why you're my boyfriend. But I could do with some girly Simba from time to time, said Nala with a grin. Wait, you two are together? Like, together? Asked Hila in surprise, getting the rest of the gang's attention as well. But before Simba could finish that sentence, Kohisha burst into the den. Everyone, I need you to follow me, he said frantically and somewhat panicked. What's the matter, Kohisha? I heard a voice screaming for help. I followed it and it turned out to be Mitu. He is in life-threatening danger, but I can't help him on my own, Kohisha explained rapidly. Mitu? Nala yelled out in panic. Where? Asked Simba with determination in his voice. Follow me, said Kohisha and ran out of the den, the rest of the gang as well as Simba and Nala close behind him. Chapter 12. But. Author's note. This is the shortest chapter of the story, mostly due to a case of me overestimating the amount of content I thought I could get out of this transitional part of the story. Also, just a quick heads up, quick trigger warning, this chapter gets a tad bit angsty. It's not all that severe, but better sorry than safe. Or something like that. A boulder, the size of a hippo, held in place by merely a few coincidentally placed pebbles, was about to tumble down a large rock formation. This particular boulder, if set in motion, would crush Mitu, who had his right front paw got stuck under another boulder, which had barely missed him. He felt panicked and deeply afraid. Any moment now, the boulder would come crashing down, smashing him into a paste. He was breathing quickly as tears of fear rushed down his cheeks. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. He kept whispering to himself under his breath. He'd only wanted to take a shortcut. One slip up later, he was in this mess. Luckily, Kohisha had heard his cries for help, but as soon as he was there to try and help him, was he already off again to get help. This left him stuck and alone. I don't want to die. His eyes were fixed on the menacing boulder. Any second now it would come tumbling down and crush him. He just knew it. Being the more timid sibling, Mita was used to mostly staying in the shadow of her sister. Nala was very much outspoken, witty, and open to meet new people. She had a small but very loyal circle of friends, all of whom were girls. Mita wasn't all that open. He always felt a tad bit misplaced when he hung out with Nala's friends. Even though Nala was always there and her friends were nice, he just felt like an intruder. He would always excuse himself and then roam the green plains until he either came across Simba or got bored. Hanging out with Simba was somehow easier. Simba would always have some sort of adventure on his mind. He would lead the way towards somewhere, and Mitu didn't get the feeling he was intruding. He felt like someone who was needed for Simba to share an adventure with. If Nala joined the two of them, Mitu would once again feel a bit like an intruder. He had even told Nala about this. She had assured him that he really didn't need to worry, and that he was always welcome to join Simba and her. The doubt still remained. Perhaps it was better if that boulder would crush him. Sure, they would be sad for a while, but they'd get over it sooner or later. Who really needed him anyway? No one needs me. It's just nice to me because I'm pitiful, he muttered to himself. He wasn't sure if he actually believed what he said or if he just wanted to distract himself to what he thought to be his imminent demise. I'm pathetic, he kept going. Here I am, yet again in trouble, like the dumb little brother that I am, he hissed to himself, feeling tears swelling up. I'm such a fucking idiot, he said. As his breathing picked up, he was about to fully burst into tears. Just then, a voice chimed in from behind him. That's no way to talk about a friend of mine. It was Kohisha. What? Asked Mita, surprised since he hadn't heard Kohisha approach. Okay, I want you to keep calm. I got the others to help you out of this situation. Other voices came closer. Mitu, are you alright? It was her sister. Nala sounded distraught. She froze with fear once she saw her little brother in the path of the massive boulder. Careful now. We don't want the boulder to move any sooner than needed, said Kohisha. We have a plan, so don't worry, assured Simba. Mitu stuttered. Calm down, We're here and we won't let anything happen to you, said Kuisha, sporting a warm smile. Mitu's eyes kept creeping up to the boulder. Mitu, I need you to look at me, Kuisha said with a calm voice. Look in my eyes. Repeat after me. I'm going to live, he said. Mitu wasn't sure what to do. What? I'm going to live. Say it, Kuisha reiterated. I'm going to live, Mitu whimpered. Come on now. You know that we both know that you are going to live. So say it again, reiterated Kuisha. I'm going to live? Why are you so sure about that? Asked Mitu, genuinely confused. I know, because someone as awesome as you can't just die, said Kuisha with a warm smile. You really mean that? Asked Kuisha in surprise. Of course I do. I fucking love you. You're too good for this world, too good for me even, so all I want you to do is one thing, said Kuisha. What would that be? Asked Mitu. It was then that he noticed the other cubs having assembled a collection of rubble piled up and a very strong-looking log, brought up like a lever atop the pile, put underneath the boulder he had his paw stuck in. If everything goes right, we will lift this boulder for a moment. Then you need to quickly withdraw your paw from underneath it, explained Simba. Kuhisha and Fikiria will jump on the log, hopefully unhinging the boulder temporarily. The only problem with this is obviously that this jump might get the boulder on top, rolling. We can only hope that everything goes right, finished Simba. Having gained the high ground, Kuhisha and Fikiria got ready to jump. Me too. I love you, and I promise you will live, said Kuisha as he took a deep breath. Fikiria looked at Kuisha. Ready? He asked. Ready. Me too. Are you ready too? Asked Kuisha. Mitu nodded. 3, 2, Kuisha counted down. 1. Now! Fikiria and Kuisha jumped. Chapter 13. A multitude of drops. A loud bang was heard as stone collided with stone. It was deafening. It was so loud, in fact, that for the next few minutes Mitu didn't hear anything but a high beeping noise. As he opened his eyes, the noise started to fade, but his hearing was still muffled. It seemed that none had been injured. He had moved at exactly the right moment to remove his paw from underneath the boulder. Then he had leapt to the side, avoiding the boulder rolling down the stone formation. He looked around. They all seemed okay. Nala had snapped out of it and was now already hugging him with enthusiasm. Simba and the other cubs walked up to him. Everything all right? Asked Simba. Mitu's hearing had come back. I think so, he said as he kept looking around. Where's Kuhisha? He finally asked. Guys! Fikiria came running around the rubble. Kuhisha got knocked out by some debris, he said, with worry in his voice. Kuhisha felt odd. He was standing on an endless gas-filled landscape. The light was dim, as though the sun had just set, but the stars weren't out yet. A grey light was all around him. It was as though the light itself was dust. Every now and again a slither of purple shot across the foggy sky. Hello? Kuhisha's voice echoed into the distance. No answer. He looked around, spotting nothing but the seemingly endless landscape. A low hum could be heard coming from nowhere and everywhere at once. A feeling of dread overcame Kuhisha, a feverish heat filling his vision, a heat of loneliness and dread. He didn't know why, but he felt abandoned. No one loved him. Was that why he was here? Had they finally seen him for the failure that he feared he was all along? Probably, said a whisper from behind Kuhisha. He turned around to be met by a visually translucent, water-like shadow of himself, which was glowing red from the inside. Who are you? asked Kuhisha, cautious.
"You chance not to be alone. Don't you remember me? We were so interconnected. For a long time you thought we were the same."
It spoke.
"I don't understand," said Kuhisha. "Walk with me, and I will explain,"
said the shadow as it started to walk towards the horizon, which was now turning red. "Keep it up, we're almost there," directed Simba. Fukuria was carrying Kuhisha on his back as the group of cubs moved as quickly as they could towards Rafiki's tree. Mitu didn't leave Kuhisha out of his sight as he kept on talking to him, even though Kuhisha probably wasn't hearing any of it. "It's gonna be alright. Rafiki knows what to do. He is gonna make you wake up. He has to," he said as he looked at Kuhisha's motionless body with deep worry.
"You can try and act like you don't know me, but you do," the shadow said.
"I'm sorry, I really don't," answered Kuhisha.
"How about this?"
With these words, the shadow blew away with the breeze that wasn't blowing and reformed itself as a group of cubs standing in a circle around something. They took turns scratching something that was placed in the middle of them all. Once he took a few steps towards it, Kuhisha recognized the scene. It was him and his gang taking turns scratching a frightened Mitu who was cowering in the middle of the circle. Kuhisha started, but just before he could complete the sentence did the shadow remove all the other cubs, leaving only Kuhisha and Mitu.
"Observe the delight on your face when you scratched him. The knowledge that with him lying there, you could both evade your true feelings and assure your status of authority," the shadow mused.
"That's no longer who I want to be," answered Kuhisha in defiance.
"Really? Have you really become a better person? Or are you still fearful of your feelings? Maybe, if just the right situation arises, you would go back to being..."
The shadow chuckled.
"Well, you know,"
he said and transformed yet again. This time he had Mitu cornered. The shadow recited Kuhisha's exact words from 2 weeks ago.
"If it isn't the little..."
A very painful slur escaped the shadow's non-existent lips.
"Are you scared? Huh?"
Kuhisha turned away from this display in agony. Had he really said those things? As if the shadow had read his mind, he replied,
"Of course you have. I would even go as far as to claim you'd say it again just to ensure your status."
The shadow taunted. "I wouldn't," Kuhisha defended himself.
"All right, then embrace him with all the love you have hidden, or perish in your own fear,"
said the shadow as the apparition of Mitu stepped out of the shadows. "This seems worse than it is," assured Rafiki as he observed Kuhisha's head wound. The gang had managed to get Kuhisha up Rafiki's tree. "Is he going to be alright?" asked Mitu as he held Kuhisha's paws. "Yes, no doubt about that, but depending on how he will react to some of my potions, I can make an estimate on how long he will be out. I will be right back," said Rafiki as he climbed further up his tree to fetch some powders and shells.
"You seem awfully worried about Kuhisha for someone who was constantly bullied by him," remarked Kuchikesha.
"Dude, not now," said Shwari with a serious look on his face, trying to keep Kuchikesha from being a jerk at a very ill-fitting moment.
"Seriously, you little shit."
Kuchikesha wasn't showing any signs of stopping, contrary even. He stepped closer towards Mitu.
"Do you like getting touchy with Kuhisha? Is that your thing, you freak?"
Without any warning, a paw struck Kuchikesha from the left.
"Who the fuck was that?"
howled Kuchikesha as he held his left cheek with his left front paw in pain. "Call my brother freak one more time and you might just find out," said a furious Nala. Kuchikesha's anger turned into amusement.
"Come on, why does a pretty girl like you have to be so angry? It's not your responsibility to protect your baby brother."
He chuckled. "We're twins," protested Mitu half-heartedly, not to be hurt by anyone.
As his big sister, I do in fact have a responsibility. So calm down from your high horse. You're not a charmer, and neither are you clever. You're just making a fool of yourself.
Nala countered.
Come on now. Your loser boyfriend wouldn't stand a chance against me.
Kuchikesha went on. Just as expected, Simba jumped into action.
Try me, pussycat,
Simba said, less with anger but more with pride. He was waiting for Kuchikesha to attack. The same was true for Kuchikesha, and so they stood there, ready to parry each other like mountains on a tree. The landscape had become a sphere of eyeballs, all of which watched as Kohisha stared at the apparition of Mitu.
Embrace your love for him, for all to see.
The shadow boomed through the red-eye-filled void. Kohisha nervously took one step in front of the other. Suddenly a corridor of cubs formed a path towards Mitu. They started to whisper. The words filled Kohisha with fear.
If I had such a useless even if he loved me, no mother clear. It won't be long until Mitu realizes how much of a useless waste of space he is.
The voices hissed in Kohisha's ears. The voices grew louder and louder until they were nothing but a chain of explosions.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Please!
Yelled Kohisha as he collapsed onto the floor, covering his ears with his paws. The explosions went on relentlessly.
I just want to be fucking loved!
He yelled into the void.
I just want to feel Mitu's head rest on my shoulders!
In an instant, the void went silent, and all the spectres of fear vanished in a fluid-like ether that seamlessly swapped between azure blue and lavender purple as well as rose pink. Kohisha remained in a cowering position. Let's just drop all the pretenses here. You're trying to impress Nala. Not just for her, but also because you hope she's gonna tell her friends about you.
Dude, what the fuck?
Kuchikesha explained in surprise.
I told you that in private.
Yes, you did, but you're currently being an ass at the worst possible moment. I get that we're all under a lot of stress right now because Kohisha got seriously hurt. But that's no excuse for being a jerk. Mitu is deeply worried about Kohisha, whether or not he harbors any feelings towards him. That doesn't matter right now, Shwari explained. Yes, and I also don't allow fighting in my tree, added Rafiki, who had come down from the tree's crown, carrying shells filled with liquids and powders. So behave or be gone, the mandrill stated factually. Kuchikesha just pouted, much to Simba's amusement. Rafiki mixed some orange powder with a dark purple liquid and then administered a few drops to Kohisha. Now which one of you knows this cup best? Rafiki asked with an enterprising smile pointing at Kohisha. The color-shifting void around Kohisha was still there. Every now and again he thought that he heard or felt something soft, something he longed for, something that seemed nowhere to be found. Then, as if an eternity away, a voice echoed into existence. Kohisha! Kohisha, are you there? It sounded like Simba. Kohisha hesitated to raise his head, expecting yet another disturbing spectre. Kohisha? It sounded like the spectre had found him. Why are you on the floor? The voice asked.
Go away. I've had it with your tricks and tortures.
Kohisha opined like a bratty kid, feeling fed up with everything. What tricks? The trick of me teasing you over your feelings of your beloved dandelion Mitu? The voice, now standing close to Kohisha, asked. Kohisha remained quiet. It had to be another illusion. Don't you remember? You said that I would like to... There was a cringe-filled pause. Cuddle-waddle with Nala, the voice finished. That was odd. The spectre hadn't taken a stab at anyone else before. Kohisha looked up. He saw Simba. He didn't understand.
It's really you. How did you get here? If I ever find out where here is,
Kohisha asked. Some debris from the boulder knocked you out. You are in a coma. The gang, Nala and me, as well as Mitu, brought you to Rafiki's tree. Rafiki gave you and me something that will help you get out of the coma. He said it works through the Kota Pamocha. They all cared about him. A feeling of warmth crept through Kahisha as he treasured that thought. He had been so easily overwhelmed by his fears. The fear of being nothing but one drop in a limitless ocean. Yet, he had never considered one thing. What is any ocean but a multitude of drops? Because they were all drops. His gang, Nala, Simba, and Mitu. Together they could be relied upon to be a force of unity. "So, you are in my coma hallucination?" asked Kahisha. "Uh-huh. Rafiki chose me because we did the Indlela Zabazavani together," Simba explained. "What about Mitu? Is he okay?" asked Kahisha, suddenly remembering the reason he got in this situation in the first place. "You can take a guess on who has not left your sight since you were knocked out," responded Simba with a warm smile. "That fuzzy little bundle of sunshine," mumbled Kahisha, trying to hide an overjoyed smile. "All right," he said, now loudly. "You said Rafiki wanted us to do something to get me to wake up? Then let's go," explained Kahisha with enthusiasm. End of chapter 13.